now underway into the first ever picks, bans, and locks for tonight. But so far, it's looking about the same as what we've been seeing last week with the Magneto and the Emma Frost bans.
Yeah, I mean, no surprises there from that perspective. We kind of talked about it. I wouldn't be surprised if MVN go back to their kind of classic 1-2-3 spread. You know, a single Vanguard to take the heat, probably gonna be skinny on that Doctor Strange. Then, you know, True Tiger as well as Teens rocking a bit of maybe a top-down look. No surprises there from that perspective. And on the other side, Imagine, you know, typically run a standard 2-2-2, but okay, Storm being banned off for Imagine, that's a strong one from their perspective.
Yeah, there has been a little bit of a nerf on the side of Storm. Her ultimate is now a little bit more pricier to use. It's going to take a little more time to charge up, but as far as I know, on the flip side, MVNESPORT, they really do like the Magneto. They will lock it away skinny if he is ever in a solo Vanguard situation. They usually opt for the Magneto, and so far it's been proving to work really well for Marvel Vietnam, so they will take it before Imagine have any thoughts of banning it away. But then again, with Magneto being very, very contested, at least in the current character selection in this draft, it's they have to lock it away, or else it will most definitely get banned away by Imagine as we wrap up the bans and locks.
I'm not judging.
Yeah, and I like the ban against MVN for the Mantis, right? I think the Guardians of the Galaxy team up with, especially when you run triple strategists for the side of MVN, it's so strong, and once you can get that out of their hands, it makes them maybe slightly more vulnerable. So honestly, what we're seeing here live, Dan, is people trying to adapt to other teams' playstyles, maybe doing a little VOD review and seeing how, you know, they want to strip away the edge, the competitive edge of their opponents. At this point in time, in this level of pro play, you have to have every single thing cut up for you, right? Your picks, your bans, even your map choices, and the way you play all matters, because you can't just click hits here. You can outbrain your opponent.
Yeah, there's so much microplays that you need to do in order to get that slight edge. Both teams, they know how to land their shots, they know how to play the game. So it's all going to come down to these micro adjustments, these micro plays. We've been seeing those in past matches where this one single basic ability is all it takes for one team to take the edge, and we will soon enough head into Hell's Haven for this map number 1 of game number 1 of series number 1. And here we go.
I love to see it, right? MVN really like to take that low ground on this particular domination match, but okay, we start off with a strong portal coming out from Imagine just to be able to catch everyone off guard. The strategists doing so much work, shutting one of their own on the other side. MVN finding themselves in a bit of a 5 stacks position. We'll have to back out onto the side, but it's Imagine going full steam ahead.
Yeah, this is a great opener coming in from Imagine, using the teleport to aggressively get into your opponent's face, and we've seen that from other teams as Shizu is able to clean up house. We'll take out True Tiger, we'll take out TNs as well, and that's going to be that domino effect on Marvel Vietnam, and they will be forced to reset as Imagine will take early control.
And great start, but I will say, I mean, despite there being triple strategists on the side MVN, Lich already has Rage of Ultron online, and that's going to be a really good start coming off the banner to break this kind of stronghold that Doctor Strange from Kurt has put up front. You know, the healing as well as the damaged output from that Rage will come in so useful, as now just a barrage of bullets coming through.
The triple shield in front of the Punisher turret is just so funny, but so is True Tiger's Eye of Agamotto, as he does wipe out 2 before the Eternal Bond is able to save the team. And it does seem like Marvel Vietnam should be able to quickly take control of this point yet again, as they are going to take a little bit more time to do so, and they will do so successfully. Imagine just the thought of a Punisher being protected by a
Just
what
3
is it?
layers of
Invisible Woman
shields.
shield, Invisible Woman shield, an Emma Frost shield, and then a Doctor Strange shield. That's just so funny to me. But either way, Marvel Vietnam will take control.
Might be their win con, you know, they know they have to shoot these flyers out of the sky. We've got Lich high in the sky trying to make so much chaos at the moment. It's gonna be the Psionic Seduction coming out just to be able to force, you know, MVN off the point just a little bit as we go into a bit of a contest. That's gonna be Final Judgment as well as the invisible boundaries, but that's not enough. Teens is gonna shut down Kurt as well as Majin. It's a bloodbath at the moment. Squishy's trying to do their best to even things out with an Omega Hurricane of their own, but I think it's a little bit too little too late.
It might be. It's almost a dead even trade coming in from both sides, blow for blow, but it looks like Marvel Vietnam will hold, and Imagine don't want to risk the stagger.
Wow. That's actually intense from the side of MVN, right? To be able to just hold that one. And True Tiger already back on another Eye of Agamotto to make it painful for Imagine to take any sort of forward space. Don't really have a lot of ultimates just yet, but Lich doing their best to be an annoying fly in the sky here.
Yeah, we'll see what he can get out of this. Rage of Ultron is available, will be popped immediately by Marvel Vietnam, as he does rain down the fire, but the Eternal Bond will be the trade of a strategist ultimate being on the side of Imagine. Imagine needs to push now, needs to keep going. Marvel Vietnam, they're slowly but surely reaching that 100% mark as the rest of the team tries to pile in. Not many ultimates available. True Tiger is holding the Eye of Agamotto. That's going to be a huge ultimate if he is able to get a good timing off. BRB going to be used onto Skinny. There's the Eternal Bond, and the Eye of Agamotto is not going to stun up many members, as Marvel Vietnam are going to be able to hold with the Eternal Bond. The Eye of Agamotto misses, but it doesn't quite matter too much as Marvel Vietnam secure round number 1.
Brilliant plays right at the end, right? It's more of like a flinch kind of tactic. You go first with your ultimates and we'll just counter with ours. I mean, although I think Skinny didn't manage to get anybody caught with their Eye of Agamotto at that tail end. I think it was booped off right at the last possible second to deny value. There's still so much space, and that's just real estate that wasn't in the powers of Imagine.
Yeah, unfortunately, Imagine just weren't able to close it out. And we will soon enough head into this second round. We'll Imagine go for some sort of adjustment here. It looks like they're going to relatively keep it the same, as the rocket will provide the extra bonus HP. At least for Marvel Vietnam. Doesn't seem like Imagine will look for that as we do head into this second round.
Yeah, Imagine coming out with the strat once again, the flood and surprise. You know, peekaboo strat going so deep into enemy territory, but I think True Tiger has the same idea because I don't really see them moving away. They start first, but they're through their portal and now fighting through the back. MVN had the same kind of idea and storming 2 portals at once just to be able to take this high ground and bring the fight over. MVN are sweeping statement right now.
Invisible Boundary is going to be popped, but it does result in 2 members of Imagine getting staggered away. KNRT trying to find an Eye of Agamotto opportunity. Doesn't seem like he will pop it just yet, as True Tiger solos down Imagine. Will go for more with the melee attacks just to deny the shields from getting any sort of value. And we will see MVN take control of this round number 2 for now.
That's insane. The fact that 2 portals came out simultaneously and an NVN said W key, we're going through our portal and then their portal and catch them off guard. Just throw their plans into absolute chaos, and it worked beautifully from that perspective.
Yeah, I'm just saying, Onse from Dopamine is the one that started this, or at least in this tournament. I'm definitely sure these teams gained some valuable insight, some valuable information, as the Omega Hurricane will be informed for Marvel Vietnam. They need to find ways to counter this. Do they have the option? They do. With the Rage of Ultron, that is going to be popped. The Eye of Agamotto is going to be popped as well on the side of Marvel Vietnam. We'll take out Vexus, and now it's going to be Imagine's turn, which doesn't land the mark. And that might mean Marvel Vietnam are just going to cruise their way into more control of the site. this CYA from this Rocket Raccoon from Rethan is going to just keep the team healthy. Decapitate will find one. Takes out Tien's head as he tries to find more, but it's going to take a little more time. Is buying a lot of time and resources from Marvel Vietnam to keep the team alive. We'll see what the plan is for Imagine as they are slowly but surely grouping up.
But honestly, Decapitate did so much to maybe hold back and at least give themselves 36%. And the strategists from their side keeping the Vanguards alive, but it's going to be Final Judgment coming up from both sides, as well as the invisible boundary. Once again, teams getting on top of Majin, as well as she's both duelists out. It's absolute chaos at the moment.
Oh my gosh, the Shroud, the blind coming in from Hyel, that gives the extra damage. The vulnerability is going to allow Tien's to just out-damage so much of these strategist ultimates coming in from Imagine. Great play coming in from Marvel Vietnam. I did also notice Skinny didn't quite land the mark on the Meteor, but then again, doesn't matter too much when you see Tien's top it off with the synergy of Hyel's blind. Is going to be doing so much work as a portal is going to be used on the high ground to get some sort of control. Shizu has the Omega Hurricane, has a good opportunity to do it. Will find one on Tien's, but the BRB is going to be available. But Hyel goes down in return as Imagine look to take back this control as Marvel Vietnam reached the 99% mark.
Okay, now they have to play it to perfection. They do have a couple ultimates in their pocket with Imagine hopefully
True Tiger has
building
teleport
there as well. And True Tiger definitely has a teleport. Might want to take that high ground, which they absolutely do. And it's going to be Lich and Teens raining hell from the above. This is going to be a big one.
We'll see. Lich does use the Rage of Ultron, will take out KNRT, who did use that Eye of Agamotto, but it didn't look like he was able to get any sort of value. Everyone on Marvel Vietnam are willing to dump you ultimates as True Tiger just wipes out the backline of Imagine, and this might be it. Marvel Vietnam should be on that red carpet to a Game 1 victory, but can Imagine make their way in time? No, they will not, and they will fall in this game number 1.
Oh, tough battle to be honest, right? Like we got some great comebacks from the side of Imagine, but you know, couldn't hold the point long enough. I feel like they may have thought about, okay, high ground was advantages. They had a few seconds to maybe reposition themselves. But unfortunately, you know, it was just a bit of the bigger brain tactics of the strangers coming through to be able to outweave and outposition your duelists as well as your strategists to basically get yourself an advantage.
Yeah, post-game statistics, TNs going absolutely ham on that Punisher. Shout out to Hyel for that one fight where they were able to just synergize their ability. Adjust Thor, where you're able to cancel the Awakening Rune. But from what we've seen, it doesn't look like it's affecting too much of the playing field, the current meta pool in this matchup at the very least, as we do head into the second one. Oh, we got Midtown!
Hey!
We got Midtown!
What's up? You manifested it, Dan.
Oh my goodness.
You manifested it.
I said I'd like to see Midtown. I didn't. It didn't have to happen, but I'm delighted. So, okay. All right. Midtown. It's one of those maps where verticality is your best friend. There's also so many different paths, different ways to access high ground, different ways to access backline.
Yep.
And it's going to be quite interesting to see how both of these teams operate the map.
I actually think that Midtown's one of those maps where if you can run a semi-decent dive, this might be one of the maps to do it. And I actually almost saw MVN. They almost locked in a Venom, but last second hopped back to Emma Frost instead. You know, that CC control from a well-timed and well-positioned Sonic Seduction is really too much to bear. It's absolutely ridiculous. But so far, okay, the ban from Punisher from Imagine comes out. Do not want to see teens on that hit scan. That's probably the right move, but this might let in other options for the Vietnam team.
Yeah, both teams are also banning out the Loki, so no regen field to counter any sort of dive. So the dive potential is wide open as it looks like Imagine are going to leave Luna Snow open for Marvel Vietnam. So we'll see if Marvel Vietnam want to go for it. As Imagine do opt, instead of banning the Luna, they opt to ban out the Mantis to sort of nerf stunt out the Guardians team up ability. As the final ban coming in for MVNE will be that Punisher. So no Punisher in this game at all. Both teams locking the Emma Frost. But an interesting lock coming in from Imagine. They really value this Invisible Woman.
Yeah, that's...
And they will use it.
That's a new one for me. I feel like we don't often see Invisible Woman being locked in. And it's not typically banned out either. You know, people go for those team-up nerfs, like Luna Snow, as well as a Mantis that we both see each team opt for, but really wanting to make sure that at least that invisible boundary is online. Maybe those shields, those buffs as well coming from Invisible Woman is going to be useful for them, is maybe part of their key plan. We'll have to wait and see what kind of meta they cook here.
Yeah, we'll see how the positioning will be for Marvel Vietnam. There is that building right in front of the main spawn area for the attacking side, where I've seen teams just camp out under that building, which is a very, very powerful position to be in. You don't have to worry about high ground, you don't have to worry about backline access. It's just a very condensed area. So we'll see how Marvel Vietnam decide to hold. Yep, like I said, look at the amount of resources being used to take control of that building.
Yeah, and honestly, Marvel Vietnam just putting everything in the kitchen sink just to be able to deny Imagine, and maybe at least cycle through those CCs as they start to fold their way out of their spawn. But that backline Lich doing wonders to keep everyone alive so far.
Yeah, and keep in mind TNs and Licht using this team up ability, it allows TNs to have a second spider nest, and they will use that to take full advantage, full control of this building. And we need something out of Imagine to break through this line of defense, and it's going to be difficult. Groot going to be the option for KNRT, as Imagine is able to charge up. The Goddess of Death will pop it immediately, as the Eternal Bond will be used to keep everyone alive. Skinny doing his best to tank these hella shots, and he will do his best, and he will be able to do so successfully, and the defense might hold for just a bit longer, despite the spawn being right in front of Imagine.
Yeah, Groot coming out with the Strangling Prison as well, maybe catching two players out there, as well as the hand of Khonshu. Just raining down damage from the heavens. It's going to be True Tiger taking this front damage with the pulverization, as well as the Eye of Agamotto. Beautifully done, forcing and staggering, maybe scattering these Imagine players around. Honestly, this brawl is unheard of, unseen.
Oof, this is not looking good for Imagine. Already about a full minute and a half taken away, as Decapitate just gets decapitated himself while using the Psionic Seduction. Wasn't able to find any value. The Groot Wall is doing a good job to zone away and isolate these frontline vanguards, but for now, MVNESports, they are still looking to get full control. The clobbering is perfect from True Tiger. This Vanguard duelist hybrid is being an absolute pain for Imagine, as this convoy is going to move farther and farther back.
I feel like Marvel Vietnam has had this comp on the books for so long, and they're just waiting for someone to choose Midtown and basically shut it down. But it's a huge one coming out from Decapitate, as well as Venus. It's going to be one revive from that BRB, brings back True Tiger, but it's going to be Shizu shutting it down. Not much more they can do. A lone thing left to be dealt with, and it's going to be now full steam ahead on this cart.
It was about time they were able to land that Groot Moon Knight Wombo combo. You've seen this combo before, and they will be able to pull it off. Moon Knight being a perfect pick into the defense of Marvel Vietnam when they're in such a condensed area, such a cramped little space. Moon Knight just goes absolutely ham, gets so much value. Combine that with the Strangling Prison, you are able to get so much value out of it, as a trade of ultimates is going to be popped here as KNRT and Shizu team up to take out 2 of Marvel Vietnam's backline.
I like the adaptation from NVM, right? Like they basically switch off Skinny back on the Strange, True Tiger on the Groot as well. Maybe a fast-paced move to get themselves back on point. Didn't really pan out. I think that first point will be theirs to Imagine. I don't foresee anyone being able to touch. Nope, it's gonna be point 1 to Imagine as they make their way through basically Grand Central Station, if I'm correct.
Yep, another area of the map where high ground does reign supreme. We'll see it right here as the Strangling Prison lands onto many members of Imagine. We'll see if Marvel Vietnam are able to take advantage. It looks like they are. They're doing it. The Eye of Agamotto doesn't quite land the mark. The Kraken Impact putting everyone into the red as the Eternal Bond will be used. So many trades of ultimates going to be popped here as both teams trying to find their advantage. Marvel Vietnam look to have that advantage as they are pushing Imagine away, as the Psylocke Seduction will be popped, but it's going to be popped relatively early. It's going to allow Marvel Vietnam to back away, but it does land onto Tien's, but the Groot Wall actually kind of saves him there. Clobbering time, not quite going to land the mark there. Actually, it wasn't even clobbering time. I don't know what ultimate I heard, but either way, there's the Fire Tornado though, and it's going to be so much damage. Imagine will go down to True Tiger, but this fight just goes on and on and on as Imagine are able to take control of that site once again.
Eternal Bond now pops, as well as the Fate of both worlds, just to be able to contest this site. I have Agamotto as well. So many ultimates. Kraken Impact. It's a headshot just to be able to take that out. And the feed lights up red. It's Imagine taking control of this. Teams shut down, Lich shut down. True Tiger does their best to even things out, but not enough. It's gonna be the second point coming down to the wire. I think Marvel Vietnam's might be able to take themselves just a bit further and contest this point. True Tiger does have that Strangling Prison. Maybe could work with an Eternal Bond to flood this site. We start things off with that Eternal Bond to maybe push back Imagine off this cart.
Yeah, they should have an idea that True Tiger does have an ultimate to work with. Everyone else on Imagine still charging it up. Keep your eyes on Imagine's Strategist ultimate as they're not going to be available. True Tiger takes full advantage of that. MVNESPORT will take a control yet again. Kind of staggers out the Human Torch of Shizu. And now here comes the main focus as Imagine have one good push remaining. MVNESPORT gonna do some sort of full court press. Imagine they do have to teleport available. Everyone on Marvel Vietnam are on the same page as Imagine gets wiped out immediately. Was close to the Omega Hurricane, but didn't quite get it liked. Is going to be on the Iron Fist. Gonna punch away. Is able to wipe out Vexus. Will wipe out Decapitate as well. Might even get a triple. Nope. Gonna get cleaned up by True Tiger. Tien's will find the fort. Shizu trying to do his best, but it's not gonna be enough. Light with the quick Iron Fist adjustment. Literally just tanks the Omega Hurricane as well.
Absolutely ridiculous adaptations. Honestly, every single player from MVN are playing out of their minds. Sure, you know, Imagine had a few good kind of pushbacks on phase 1, on phase 2, got a lot of traction on phase 2 on that Midtown map, but I feel like the adaptations from the side of Marvel Vietnam have been so strong. They had strats and compositions for corners of phases of the map. Like that first corner was ridiculous. They held it for so long.
Yeah, that's been the bread and butter, at least for players that are playing on this Midtown map. But on the offensive side, usually it was the Moon Knight Groot combo that is going to be enough to shut down that defense with the Strangling Prison, hand the Khonshu Wombo combo. And they were able to take advantage of that, and Imagine we're finally using that Wombo combo. We're able to get to that first point, but they just weren't able to go any further. Are going to settle with 1, and I'd say like 1.9. They were pretty close to that second point.
I want to talk about certain team-ups that are happening right now as well. MVN have the Ice Arrows online, Heal and Teens, being that Luna as well as that Hawkeye. But on the side of Imagine, Shizu and Majin, the Flyers. Okay, Fire Nado? Fire Nado much?
Yeah, they did use the Fire Nado before. But it looks like they're going to go a different approach. They're not going to take control of that building like we saw MVNESports do. And they're instead going to do what most people have been seeing in their own ranked games, just take control of that long choke point, that big open area that is a choke point for them. But oh my goodness, off the rip, Decapitate gets isolated by the group wall and gets taken out.
Oh, and a great wall as well, just to be able to isolate, you know, Kurt right at that tail end. Both Vanguards out of action right now. Leaves Imagine scrambling for answers, scrambling for solid spaces to hide behind. We'll get into the train station itself and hopefully keep everyone alive. Majin goes down, and the stagger is so real right now, so real for the side of Imagine.
Imagine had both their Vanguards get taken out ridiculously early, on top of Shizu also getting taken out as well. So Marvel Vietnam are able to just take full control as there's no tank. Oh my goodness, that Strangling Prison was perfect, but there is counterplay on the side of Imagine with the invisible boundary. That would have been absolutely catastrophic if there wasn't any sort of response on the side of Imagine, but thankfully they were able to find it and they're able to hold for the time being.
Yeah, and trying to punish more, right? Just trying to take all the space as well. Staggering out Skinny, and this leaves MVN in a bit of a lurch. They'll have to go back all the way to spawn, and this leaves Imagine to be able to maybe regroup up in the high ground, take those higher spots. I feel like their poke is so much stronger than we've seen in that first half.
Great trades of abilities from both sides to charge up ultimates. Both sides have so many to work with. Here we go. There's the first of that domino effect that we will probably see as the Eye of Agamotto going to be used to try to take out that Cloak and Dagger ultimate. But there's just so much particles, so much abilities going left, right, and center. Eye of Agamotto going to find two onto Imagine, but Imagine is going to find a double with the Omega Hurricane. Probably will find more. Shizu is able to help out, but for now Imagine are going to hold, but now 2 minutes left on that clock.
The damage that comes out from a Fire Needle is intense, right? He'll actually popped that Fate of Both Worlds, but could not even sustain members in that defensive out. And so, strategists be damned from that perspective. We go again. It's a minute 30, and Imagine are being tested at the moment.
Yeah, True Tiger has Strangling Prison, is threatening it, but with all these flyers flying around, it's going to be a little bit difficult. There's the Strangling Prison, immediately countered by the invisible boundary as a Silent Seduction, trying to buy a bit of time, but it doesn't quite land on the important targets. There is just an aerial dogfight happening up at the top. Light moves forward, but the heal is there on the side of Imagine. As Tienz finds an isolation, finds an opportunity, takes out Shizu just like that. There's the Eye of Agamotto, going to stun onto two, but there is just no follow-up on them. MVNESPORT are going to push on forward. They're surely going to be able to secure this first point, as Imagine need to run for the hills or they risk a more stagger situation. As Imagine finds one with the Omega Hurricane, but that's going to be enough. It's going to be a one-for-one trade, and it won't result to a whole lot as MVNESPORT slowly but surely moving in, but there's a Desperation Teleport coming in. Ultimates are going to be available to Kraken Impact, going to be used. Can't quite land onto these important targets. Rage of Ultron from Lights is going to be available as soon as this Eternal Bond fades away, but the Eye of Agamotto lands onto so many members. Fate of Both Worlds will bail them out, it does seem. Or is it, as everyone on Marvel Vietnam are just steamrolling through? Imagine, dump everything in the tank and they get nothing out of it.
That was absolutely ridiculous. From the side of MVN, right? They played it to perfection. They knew that Desperation Teleport portal would come out and they were ready for it. Just be able to dump so much onto the heads, and you know, coming off from that portal, it's not a great angle because there's so much damage and duelists that are above you from that perspective. And now phase 2, Teens on the Hela for maybe some stronger poke damage at the moment. Kurt just taking the brunt of all this kind of poke right now. We'll have to back off with True Tiger with the the help.
Whoa,
Majin absolutely taken out. It's gonna be healed with a clean shot. A second to follow from Skinny, and suddenly imagine losing their footing. Great wall coming from Groot just to be able to maybe deny and hold back certain 1v1s. And the pullback, oh my dear, on to decapitate stands 0 chance.
Oh my gosh, the hook coming in from Light might be the reason why MVNESPORT will take over this game number 2. It's looking likely. It's looking good. The stagger is there. KNRT will be the next on the staggering block on the west. The invisible boundary is going to buy a bit of time. There's the Eye of Agamotto, but it's only going to land on the 2. But is it the important targets? No! MVNESPORT, they're able to just brute force their way through to a 2-0 sweep in this best of 3 series.
Holy, 2-1 to say the least here on this second map, and it was just so strong from the side of Marvel Vietnam, right? They were able to bring the fire, and honestly, with each phase, with each corner, they ran back to their spawn. They changed things up. They wanted a different look against Imagine because they had strats on strats on strats, and although Imagine really brought their A game, could not adapt fast enough to the ever-changing faces of Marvel Vietnam.
Oh my goodness. Shout out to Light with that that was the game-winning hook right there. Right onto Imagine.
Yes.
What a pull coming in from... that was perfect.